The night on the research moon was quiet, but Rylan felt something wrong in the air. The wind was cold, the sky was dark, and the ruins behind the camp seemed to breathe. Everyone had warned him since the first day. They said the dragons that once lived here were dangerous, wild, and full of hatred for humans. They said no one should go near the stone archways that glowed at night. Rylan listened at first, but something inside him kept pulling him toward the ruins. It felt like a voice calling him, soft and distant, asking him to come closer. Late that night he walked alone, holding only a small light. His boots echoed on the hard ground. The ruins stood in front of him like broken teeth, tall and sharp. He felt a chill crawl down his back. He knew this was a bad idea, but he could not stop himself. Something was waiting, something he needed to see. A strange sound echoed from the shadows. It was not a human sound. It was soft, sad, almost like a sigh. Rylan froze. The warnings from his team repeated in his head. Stay away from the ruins. Never go alone. If you see a dragon, run. But Rylan did not run. He slowly stepped forward, his heart beating fast. The shadows moved. For a moment, Rylan thought his mind was playing tricks on him, but then he saw golden eyes glowing in the darkness. They watched him without blinking. His breath caught in his throat. A tall shape stepped out from behind the stone archway, slow and silent. It was a dragon woman, her scales dim and cracked, her wings folded tightly against her back. She looked tired, as if she had been hiding for a long time. Rylan's legs trembled. He wanted to run, but his body would not move. The dragon woman stopped only a few steps away from him. She should have attacked. She should have roared. But instead, she lowered herself and sat on the cold stone floor, calm as the night. She did not look angry. She did not look dangerous. She looked like someone who had seen too much pain. This confused Rylan more than any threat could. She lifted her head and studied him. Her voice, when she spoke, was gentle and deep. "You are not afraid," she said softly, almost surprised. Rylan could barely speak. I am afraid," he whispered. "But I don't want to run." The dragon woman tilted her head. Her long tail curled around her legs and her wings relaxed slightly. She looked nothing like the monsters the research team described. She looked lonely. Rylan slowly lowered himself onto the stone ground, sitting across from her. His light cast a soft glow between them. The ruins around them seemed to watch quietly. He asked, "Why are you here?" She closed her eyes for a moment. "I have nowhere else to go," she said. "My name is Saravel. My people are gone." Rylan felt a sharp pain in his chest. Her voice carried deep sadness, something old and heavy. He did not know what to say. He had never spoken to a dragon before, not even in dreams. Saravel looked at him again. "You remind me of someone," she said. "Someone I trusted long ago." Rylan felt a strange warmth in the air between them. It felt like a connection forming, something soft and natural. This dragon woman was not dangerous. She was hurt, abandoned, and alone. For a long moment they sat in silence. The moonlight touched Saravel's broken scales, making them shine faintly. Rylan noticed how weak she looked, how she kept breathing slowly as if every breath hurt. "You're injured," he said quietly. She did not answer, but her tired eyes told him everything. Rylan reached into his bag and pulled out a small water pack. He held it out carefully. Saravel stared at the water, surprised. Dragons were taught never to accept anything from humans, but she slowly reached for it, her claws gentle and careful. When she drank, her hands shook. Rylan watched her with a heavy heart. Whoever she was, she had suffered more than any creature should. When she finished, she placed the pack back in his hand. "Why do you help me?" she asked. "Your people fear mine." Rylan shrugged a little. "You're sitting here alone. You don't look like someone who wants to hurt me." Saravel let out a quiet breath, something like a tired laugh. "You are strange for a human." Rylan smiled weakly. "Maybe." The wind blew softly through the ruins and the night seemed to grow lighter. For a moment, Rylan forgot the warnings, the danger, the rules. He felt like he was sitting with someone familiar, someone who trusted him. It was strange but peaceful. Saravel looked up at the sky. "They will come looking for me," she whispered. "Soon." "Who?" Rylan asked. She did not answer. She only closed her eyes as if remembering something terrible. Rylan wanted to ask more, but the fear in her face stopped him. Whatever she had escaped from was worse than any story the research team had told him. He realized she had been running for a long time. When the night grew colder, Saravel slowly stood. She looked at Rylan with soft golden eyes. "Do not tell your people about me," she said quietly. "Not yet." "I won't," Rylan promised. She nodded once. Then she did something that shocked him. She reached out gently and touched his shoulder with the back of her claw. It felt warm, light, almost comforting. "Thank you," she said. Then she stepped back into the shadows and disappeared. Ryland sat alone, heart racing, unable to believe what had happened. They told him to stay away. They told him dragons were dangerous. They told him he would die if he came here. But the dragon woman sat with him like an old friend. And he knew he would return tomorrow. The next night, Ryland could not stop thinking about Saravel. Her golden eyes, her quiet voice, and the strange warmth he had felt when she touched his shoulder haunted him. Everyone at the research camp had warned him again. Stay away from the ruins. Humans were not welcome here, they said, and dragons were not friendly. But Ryland did not care. He had to see her again. He had to understand her. He walked alone under the pale moons of the remote world, careful to keep silent. The ruins stretched before him, jagged and shadowed, but he moved with a strange sense of purpose. When he stepped into the clearing, she was already there. Saravel sat on the cold stone floor, her wings folded tightly, tail curled around her legs. Her eyes glowed faintly in the moonlight. "You came back," she said softly, almost surprised. "I had to," Ryland said. "I needed to see you." She studied him, tilting her head. "Most humans do not return. They fear me. Or they fear themselves." Ryland shrugged. "Maybe. But I don't understand why I feel something when I see you. It's not fear." Saravel's gaze softened. "You are brave or perhaps foolish. Perhaps both. But you are different from the others." She paused and then whispered, "You remind me of someone I trusted long ago. Someone who believed in me when all others turned away." Ryland frowned, confused. "Who?" She did not answer. Instead, she lowered herself to the ground, closer to him, and exhaled slowly. The warmth between them grew, something gentle and quiet, filling the space where fear should have been. Ryland felt it too, a connection, a bond that made him feel calm and alive at the same time. "I have been alone for centuries," Saravel said, her voice low. "Hiding from hunters who destroyed my people. My clan, my family, gone. Only I remain." Ryland's heart ached. "I'm sorry," he said softly. "I don't know what to say. That must have been terrible." She nodded, her scales shimmering faintly in the moonlight. "It was. And I have learned to trust no one. Not humans. Not dragons. Not even the stars that watch silently from above. But something about you. I cannot push you away." Ryland swallowed hard. "I don't understand it either. I should be afraid of you. Everyone would be. But I'm not." Saravel's eyes glimmered, a mixture of sadness and curiosity. "Perhaps that is why we are here. Perhaps the universe sent you. Humans are small, fragile. Yet you have a strength I have not felt for a long time. You are not afraid to see the truth, to sit with me, to speak without pretending." Ryland felt a strange pride mixed with fear. He had never met a dragon like her, and he had never been trusted by anyone like this. "I just want to help," he said. "I don't want you to be alone." Saravel lowered her head, her gaze softening. "You do not know what helping me could mean," she whispered. "Many have tried and failed. Some have died simply for touching me. You survived. You did not falter. That is more than any human has done." Ryland looked down at his hands. He had not realized it at the time, but her life force had seemed to touch him, and he had felt a strange strength pass through him. Perhaps that was why he had not been afraid. Perhaps that was why he had stayed. They sat in silence for a while, listening to the wind sweep through the ruins. It carried whispers of the past, echoes of a clan that no longer existed. Ryland felt the weight of history around them, heavy and real, but he also felt something lighter, the possibility of trust, the possibility of friendship, even across species that were supposed to be enemies. Saravel's tail twitched slightly. "Humans fear us," she said. "They say dragons are monsters. But you do not see me that way. And that is comforting." Ryland smiled a little. "I don't see monsters. I see you. And I see someone who deserves to live. I don't care what anyone else says." Her golden eyes softened further. "You are brave. Foolish perhaps. But brave. And that bravery, it is rare. It is why I sit with you, why I let you near. You are not like the others. You are a friend." Ryland felt his chest tighten. He had never had a dragon call him a friend before. He had never imagined that this could happen. "Then I'll stay," he said quietly. "If you let me, I'll stay. I don't care about rules or warnings. I'll stay with you." Saravel looked at him for a long time, her glowing eyes searching his face. Then, slowly, she reached out and touched his shoulder with her claw, light and careful. Warmth flowed through him, gentle and steady. It was a small touch, but it carried centuries of loneliness, sorrow, and trust. "You are human," she said softly, "but perhaps humans are not as weak as I believed. Perhaps, together we can survive what comes next." Rylan nodded, unsure of what would come but certain of one thing. He would not leave her side. Not now. Not ever. The wind whispered around them, the ruins standing silent witness. The stars above twinkled cold and distant, yet they seemed to shine brighter for a moment, as if approving the bond forming below. A dragon woman, ancient and royal, and a human, small and fragile, sat together like old friends, defying every warning, every fear, every expectation. And for the first time in centuries, Saravel did not feel completely alone. Rylan knew the bond they shared should not exist. Every instinct told him it was dangerous. Every voice in his head warned him to leave. But none of that mattered. The dragon woman, wounded and royal, had chosen to trust him. And he would honor that trust, no matter what shadows approached in the days to come. The night deepened, stars twinkling over the ruins. They sat together, two unlikely companions, bound by courage, curiosity, and the fragile hope that humans and dragons could share something more than fear. And in that quiet moment, Rylan understood the truth. Some bonds are stronger than fear, stronger than centuries, stronger than any rule or warning. They had found each other. That night, Rylan could feel tension in the air. The ruins seemed darker than before, the wind harsher, as if carrying a warning. He had returned to Saravel, the dragon woman who had chosen to trust him. She waited for him in the same place, wings folded and golden eyes alert. But something was different. Her body trembled slightly, and her gaze kept flicking to the horizon. "What is it?" Rylan asked, stepping closer. Saravel did not answer immediately. She exhaled slowly, her chest rising and falling like a storm contained. Finally she said, "They are coming. I can feel it. Hunters. The ones who destroyed my clan, they have found this moon." Rylan froze. His heart pounded. "Hunters? Here?" She nodded. "They will not show themselves at first. They are patient, quiet. But they will strike soon. If they find me, they will not leave alive." Rylan's hands trembled slightly. "We can warn my team. We can get help." Saravel shook her head. "No. Your team, the humans, cannot face them. They do not understand the hunter's power. You must leave them out of this. This is my war, but you are here and you cannot be ignored. You must be ready." Rylan felt a rush of fear and responsibility. He had never imagined standing against ancient hunters, far stronger than anything humans had faced. And yet, he would not leave Saravel alone. Not now. Suddenly the ground vibrated slightly. Tiny sparks of energy ran across the stone ruins. Saravel's eyes narrowed. They are near. Hiding. Watching. Waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Rylan looked toward the horizon. He could see nothing but shadows stretching across the moon's surface. But the air felt heavier, charged with silent menace. "How many are there?" he asked. "Enough to destroy a settlement," she said quietly. "Enough to take me and everything that remains of my people. And enough to kill anyone foolish enough to stand in their way." Rylan swallowed hard. His mind raced. He could not rely on his small human team, and yet he could not leave Saravel to face this alone. He clenched his fists. "Then I'll help. Whatever it takes, I'm staying with you." Saravel's eyes softened slightly, but her body remained tense. "This is not a simple battle. They will not fight like you or I expect. They are shadows, predators. They strike from places unseen. One mistake, and you die." Rylan nodded, trying to hide the fear rising in his chest. "Then we will be careful. Together." She studied him for a moment, then exhaled slowly. "Very well. Together. But remember, humans are fragile. Your body will not take what mine can. You must rely on your mind. And you must trust me." The wind shifted again, carrying a faint humming sound. It was low, almost imperceptible at first, but growing steadily. Shadows moved across the ruins, sliding like liquid over the stones. Saravel's tail twitched, and her wings spread slightly, preparing. "They are close," she whispered. "They are testing us, probing for weaknesses. They have learned to sense the energy that binds me. That energy, it is what they seek." Rylan's mind spun. "Energy? What do they want from you?" Saravel looked away for a moment, as if remembering the horrors of the past. "They want the power of my clan. My people were hunted for it, one by one, until none remained. And I carry the last trace." Her golden eyes met his. "If they take me, they take it all. Entire worlds may fall under their control. That is why I cannot hide any longer. That is why I cannot run forever. Ryland's heart tightened. The warnings from his team, the fear he had felt, all of it seemed small compared to what she carried. Then we fight, he said, voice trembling slightly but firm. We don't let them take you. We don't let them win. Saravel studied him, golden eyes flickering. You choose to stand by me, human? Even knowing the danger? Yes, Ryland said. I don't care about rules, warnings, or fear. I'll stay with you. The shadow on the horizon grew larger. Shapes shifted and shimmered like smoke, moving toward the ruins with quiet precision. Saravel's wings lifted fully now, scales glinting in the moonlight. Then be ready, she said. They will strike soon. They are fast, clever, and merciless. You must think quickly. Move quickly. Or we die. Ryland nodded, adrenaline flooding through him. He had never faced anything like this before. His body was small, weak, but his mind could be sharp. He could think, plan, and act. That would have to be enough. The hunter struck without warning. Shadows darted across the ruins like blades, sharp and fast. Energy pulses lit up the dark, and the ground shook beneath them. Ryland ducked instinctively as one shot flew past him. Saravel moved with impossible speed, wings slicing through the air as she deflected an attack with a flick of her claw. Ryland's heart raced, but he forced himself to think. He guided her silently, noticing weaknesses in the attacks, predicting patterns. Saravel glanced at him once, a spark of approval in her golden eyes. Together they moved as one, human and dragon, fragile and powerful, facing the hunters that no one else could stop. The ruins echoed with energy blasts, shadowy forms, and the roars of Saravel. Ryland could see the danger all around, but he no longer felt helpless. He realized something important. He might be small, but his courage and mind mattered. Together they could survive. Together they could fight. As the hunters circled closer, Ryland knew one thing clearly. The warnings had been right. Stay away, humans. But he could not stay away. He would not leave Saravel. The shadows approaching the moon had underestimated him. And for the first time he felt ready to face what came next. The night was dark, the wind harsh, but the bond between human and dragon burned brighter than any fear. And the hunters would soon learn that together, they were not to be underestimated. The air on the ruins was tense, charged with danger. The hunters circled, their dark ships hovering just above the moon's surface. Shadows moved across the ground, whispering threats that only Saravel could sense. She stood beside Ryland, wings partially extended, claws digging into the stone. Her golden eyes glimmered with fear, but also with determination. Ryland, she said, her voice low, almost trembling. There is something you must know. Something I have never told a human before. Ryland looked at her, heart pounding. What is it? She hesitated, looking out at the approaching hunters. My clan was not destroyed randomly, she said. We hid something powerful inside ourselves. An energy core. A life force that holds immense power. The hunters, they want it. They want control. They want to use it to conquer worlds. Ryland felt his stomach tighten. You mean, you're carrying it? Saravel nodded slowly. I am the last. I am the last of my line. If they capture me, the energy can be taken. Entire systems could fall under their control. That is why I cannot hide forever. That is why I cannot run. Ryland's mind raced. This was far beyond anything he had imagined. His small human body was fragile, weak compared to her, yet here he was, standing beside her in the shadow of unimaginable danger. Then we fight, he said quietly. I'm not leaving you. We stop them. Saravel's wings lifted slightly, the muscles tense and ready. You could die, human, she warned. One mistake and you are gone. I cannot protect you completely. Your species is not built for this. You must rely on your mind. Quick thinking, cleverness, these will keep you alive. Ryland nodded. He did not have her strength, her scales, or her wings, but he had something else. Courage, determination, and the desire to protect her. Then I will use it. I'll stay with you. We can survive together. Saravel studied him, her golden eyes softening. You are unlike any human I have known. Perhaps, you are the reason I do not hide. Perhaps the bond we share gives us a chance. Ryland's chest tightened. Bond? He had only ever thought of her as a friend, someone fragile and royal, yet dangerous. But now he realized it was more. They trusted each other, and that trust made them stronger than they realized. Suddenly, one of the hunter's shadow ships swooped low, firing a beam of dark energy. Saravel leapt into action, wings spreading wide as she deflected the attack with a shield of golden light. Rylan ducked, his hands moving quickly over the tools he had brought, redirecting energy from one device to another. Sparks flew and the ruins shook. "You think you can take me?" Saravel roared, voice powerful and deep. Her scales glimmered as her energy flared, lighting up the night. The hunters froze, sensing the power she carried within her. Rylan felt it too, the warmth of her energy flowing into him, steadying his hands and mind. He realized that this was not just strength, it was a connection, a bond that allowed them to act as one. The hunters could feel it too, and for a moment hesitation flickered across their dark forms. "You cannot win," Saravel shouted. "You have underestimated the bond between human and dragon." Rylan guided her movements, noticing patterns in the hunters' attacks, predicting their strikes and redirecting energy flows. "Left side," he shouted. "Now fire together." Their combined strength hit the enemy hard. Shadow ships faltered, some retreating while others were disabled. Saravel's wings flared, her claws striking precise blows, and Rylan's human ingenuity turned their environment into a trap for the hunters. They could not believe that a human could influence a dragon's energy so effectively. The hunters regrouped, forming a wall of shadows, but Rylan and Saravel were ready. "We are stronger together," Saravel whispered. "Trust me and we can end this." Rylan nodded, fear replaced by resolve. He had learned quickly how to use her movements, how to anticipate attacks, and how to protect both himself and her. The ruins themselves became their ally, channels of energy flowing through the stones under their control. One hunter tried to strike Rylan directly. Saravel reacted instantly, shielding him with a sweep of her wing. The energy from her scales mixed with his quick calculations, sending the attacker tumbling into the shadows. Rylan realized something. Humans were fragile, yes, but their minds could do what dragons' bodies could not. Their creativity, courage, and adaptability made them unpredictable, even to beings as ancient and powerful as hunters. Saravel hovered close, glowing with renewed energy. "You are remarkable," she said, her voice full of awe. "Perhaps this is why I did not hide. Perhaps this is why fate brought you to me." Rylan smiled, feeling a strange warmth in his chest. "We make a good team," he said. "Yes," Saravel agreed. "But the fight is not over. The hunters will not give up. They will return stronger. We must be ready, human. We must be ready for everything." The shadow ships retreated for the moment, leaving the ruins quiet once more. But the danger lingered, invisible and waiting. Rylan and Saravel sat together, exhausted but connected, understanding that the secret she carried was now their shared responsibility. "You carry more than just your clan's legacy," Rylan said softly. "You carry hope. And I'll help you protect it." Saravel touched his shoulder gently, golden energy flowing through him. "Then stay close," she whispered. "Together we will face whatever comes. Together we will survive." The night was silent again, but the bond between human and dragon burned brighter than ever. The hunters had come, but they had underestimated the connection between them. And this bond, fragile but powerful, was the secret that could change everything. The night sky over the ruins was filled with tension. The hunters' shadow ships returned, faster and more numerous than before. Their dark shapes glided silently, surrounding the moon, waiting for the right moment to strike. Rylan stood beside Saravel, heart pounding but steady. He could feel her energy flowing through him, steady and strong, and it gave him courage. "They are back," Rylan said quietly, watching the dark forms move like predators. Saravel's golden eyes glimmered. "Yes. They learned from the last encounter. They are clever but not clever enough. We must be precise. Every move counts. One mistake and we are gone." Rylan nodded, gripping his tools and devices. His hands were human, fragile, but his mind was sharp. He had learned to read Saravel's energy, anticipate the hunter's attacks, and act quickly. He would not fail. Not now. The first strike came without warning. A shadow ship dove toward them, firing a beam that cut across the ruins. Saravel leapt into the air, wings glowing with golden energy, deflecting the attack with a sweep of her claw. Rylan adjusted the energy shields he had set up, directing power where the hunter's beams were strongest. Sparks flew across the ground as the shields absorbed the impact. "Left flank," Rylan shouted. "Now." Saravel reacted instantly, twisting in the air and striking the ship with her tail. Energy rippled across the hunter's hull, forcing it to veer off and crash into the rocks below. Rylan felt a surge of excitement. They were working together, human and dragon, mind and power, more effective than either could be alone. The hunters regrouped, sending multiple ships at once. They moved in perfect synchronization, trying to trap Saravel and Rylan. But Rylan's quick thinking and Saravel's strength made them unpredictable. He redirected energy to weaken the incoming attacks while she struck with precision. One by one, shadow ships faltered, their energy shields failing under the combined assault. Saravel landed beside him for a brief moment. "Your human mind, it is remarkable," she whispered, golden eyes filled with awe. "You see patterns I cannot see. Together, we are stronger than I imagined." Rylan smiled, feeling a strange warmth. "We make a good team," he said. "We can do this." A group of hunters tried to surround them from above. Rylan quickly calculated the best angle for Saravel to strike while he redirected energy through the ruins' ancient conduits. The plan worked perfectly. The hunters crashed into each other, blinded and confused by the sudden trap. Saravel let out a powerful roar, flaring her wings and energy across the ruins. The night lit up with golden light, and the hunters faltered again. Rylan realized something important. Humans were fragile, yes, but their creativity and courage gave them an advantage no dragon alone could achieve. The hunters had underestimated them both, thinking Saravel alone would fight. But together they were unstoppable. The shadow ships began to retreat, their formation breaking apart. Some vanished into the darkness, while others limped away, damaged and defeated. Saravel hovered above the ruins, wings glowing, golden energy streaming from her scales. Rylan caught his breath, hands shaking but steady. "We did it," he said softly. Saravel landed beside him, her tail curling around him gently. "Yes," she whispered. "But this is only the beginning. The hunters will return. Others may come. But now they know humans and dragons can work together. That knowledge is dangerous to them." Rylan looked at her, golden eyes meeting his. "Then we stay together. We fight together. Whatever comes, we face it together." Saravel nodded slowly. "You are not just a human," she said. "You are a friend, an ally, and, perhaps the start of something new. Something our worlds have never seen before." The ruins were quiet now, the stars shining above. Rylan's team, who had watched from a distance, finally approached, wide-eyed and silent. They had seen what humans could do, what dragons could do, and most importantly, what a human and a dragon could do together. Their fear and mistrust melted away, replaced by awe and respect. You survived," one of the scientists whispered. "With the dragon." Rylan shrugged, smiling tiredly. "We helped each other. That's all." Saravel looked at the humans briefly, her expression softening. "Do not fear us," she said quietly. "We are not your enemies. But we are not your pets either. Respect and trust, that is the bond we offer." The humans nodded slowly, understanding for the first time that dragons were not monsters. They were beings with power, history and trust, and they could choose to share it with humans. Rylan turned back to Saravel. "So, what now?" he asked. "Now," she said, wings folding gently, "we prepare. We rebuild. We learn from each other. And we show the galaxy that humans and dragons can be allies, not enemies. That together, we are stronger than any shadow that comes for us." Rylan felt a surge of hope. For centuries, dragons had been feared, hunted, or ignored. Humans had been small and fragile. But together they could face anything. Their bond, formed from trust, courage, and understanding, was stronger than any weapon the hunters could wield. Saravel's golden eyes met his again. "You chose to stay when others would have fled," she said. "That choice has changed everything. Together we will face what comes next." Rylan nodded, feeling a deep sense of purpose. "Then let's do it. Together." The hunters had been defeated, but the future was uncertain. Yet for the first time, Rylan and Saravel knew they were not alone. The bond they had formed, human and dragon, fragile but strong, was the start of a new era. The stars above the ruins seemed to shine brighter that night, as if celebrating the alliance that had formed. Rylan realized something profound. Fear and warnings could not stop trust, courage, and friendship. They had survived, they had fought, and together they had begun a new chapter. A human and a dragon, side by side, had changed the course of history. And this was only the beginning.